If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
No.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Oh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-NATE.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. You know what that means. It is the Squared Circle Digest. We are here to talk some pro wrestling, looking at AEW, WWE, who just had Elimination Chamber. Right now, WWE NXT on the air, but so is the Squared Circle Digest. Make sure you jump in on the chat. Let's chat it up. You can also hit me on Twitter or Instagram at Sean_Stanley11. And of course, make sure you smash the like button. And if you have any questions, of course, you can hit us up at BigORadioshow@yahoo.com. Just put in the subject pro wrestling talk, but I'm sure we'll figure it out by the way you asked the question. But let's get started. This weekend, we had a WWE Elimination Chamber that was on Saturday. And overall, I thought it was a pretty damn good pay-per-view. There were some things, and some things I didn't like. I thought they made a couple stars. Overall, I thought Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, and of course Asuka, who they're pushing now to main event with Bianca Belair. But I thought that Montez Ford had a star-making a performance. Johnny Wrestling, of course, you knew it was both of them had it in them. It was just they finally got an opportunity to show what they could do. Montez Ford, again with the Street Profits, you can kind of see the athleticism he has, and I think the Elimination Chamber kind of allowed him to show his skill set, and I thought he performed at the highest level. Some things, the good from Elimination Chamber, of course, Sami Zayn comes up short against Roman Reigns. But overall, I thought, man, dude, to have at the end Sami standing and Roman down, I get it. He didn't get the 1, 2, 3, but you left him strong. And you didn't take away from him. I mean, look at all the crap that Sami went through before getting pinned. There was a thing there where, Kevin Owens came down, Jimmy Uso got taken out. Sami accidentally took out Jey Uso, and you saw a little resemblance. I'm going to get into some of the things, I think some WrestleMania matches that, of course, were obviously set, and some maybe not so obviously being set up. But again, just my predictions on what the WrestleMania card will look like. That was a good match, as well as I thought both chamber matches I thought were very well done. I did not like the Lashley Lesnar match. I thought it was a good match. I mean, they went back and forth, two big ass beasts battling it out, two bulls, and then I don't know, man. It just, to me, it was kind of flat. I get they're trying to set it up for something else, but this is the one thing I don't understand. Friday on SmackDown, you have Bray Wyatt come out and say, whoever wins out of Lesnar and Lashley, run. And it ended up being, what was it? Disqualification, I believe, right? Because that's right, Lesnar back kicked him when he had the Hurt Lock on. So, I don't know where they're going to go with it. I mean, I know there's some things where I think I've saw some things where Omos is going to take on Lesnar at Mania and Bray Wyatt, Lashley. I don't know. We'll have to see where they go with some of that stuff. I did not get to watch all of Raw last night, and I didn't get the opportunity to go all the way back through there. So some of these things I may have missed on there. Beth Phoenix, Edge against the Judgment Day. I get all the things about Beth and Edge coming back and this and that, but that match was so damn choppy. I mean, from the lockup with Beth and Rhea Ripley, and then from there, there's a couple missed spots. Overall, though, I thought, Elimination Chamber, I thought it hit the spot, man. Honestly, it did good. And I thought they, again, they could have went a bunch of ways with the finish. I thought they left a good taste in my mouth with the way they did Sami. Sami didn't get beat down. He ended up standing tall in his hometown. Didn't get the win. Fought his ass off. But came up a little bit short, but then was the stronger man standing at the end. So, we'll see where they go, from there. We got 5 Raws left and a bunch of SmackDown. So 6 weeks till WrestleMania. A lot of stories can be told and retold. So we'll see what they do there. If you guys watched Elimination Chamber, go ahead and throw in the chat there what you thought about it. Terry, what's up? Dad, what's going on? Frankie Fresco, Boss B. Appreciate y'all being in today. Let's see. Elimination Chamber was actually not a bad. I know. I thought it was a well planned out Elimination Chamber. And then, again, I believe this is my own personal, from what I've seen and then what I saw a little bit on Raw last night. Again, I didn't watch all of it. I didn't get a chance to see it all. But it looks like, of course, it's going to be Roman Reigns and Cody. I think, and of course, you got Bianca and now Asuka. You've got Charlotte against Rhea. I don't know when they're going to do the women's tag team. I did not see the whole thing. I saw, and here's an interesting tidbit. Last night on Raw, Trish Stratus was supposed to come out and be a part of that Ding Dong Hello segment. She left the arena before the segment went on. So there was talk of, I don't know, there hasn't been really an update, but for some reason they said creative change. And Trish Stratus left the arena, and then it was the tag team match, which, Lita and Becky will take on now Io. I want to call her Io Shirai, but that's not the correct name. But so it'll be interesting. Frankie's asked me what I think of that match. I think it's going to be a great match. Again, to me, it kind of is Lita coming back full time. Because then why put the titles on the line? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get, you want to have the tag team match at WrestleMania, the title match at WrestleMania, but do you really need the titles on the line? I'd rather the titles not be on the line and then have Becky and Lita go over. But if Lita's going to come in full time, then, I mean, it'd be cool to see them two as they made next Monday night for the belts. Okay, so then you never know. They might still bring Trish Stratus back into this somehow, but I think she would have got she didn't get a great reception wherever she goes, but in Canada, definitely get one. I wonder if they're going to, set this up for the tag titles and have Bayley jump in and then have Trish come out and make the save that way. I thought it was kind of odd. You're going to have all this going on in a Ding Dong Hello, and you're bringing Trish out for what? It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. At least the way it showed on air. I don't know if changes were made, big wholesale changes were made to the development of that story, but from what I saw on the highlight, and I don't know. I'm glad they didn't have Trish come out and ruin. Maybe they'll bring her back out next week during the tag team title match. We'll see what happens there. Some of the matches I think they're heading toward. I think they're going to get John Cena against Austin Theory. But you might get that in 2 weeks on Raw, too, because I guess he's coming back to Raw as well. But we'll see if he answers the United States Challenge or if he comes back and it ends up being Austin Theory against John Cena at WrestleMania. Another one I think is going to happen is for the Undisputed Tag Team titles. I think you're going to end up getting Jimmy and Jey Uso against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I think you're going to end up seeing them. I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to see, I remember, oh man, what was it back in the day? Who was it? I think it was in Florida. There was an angle where the one-man gang was thrown out of Sir Oliver Humperdinck's group. And he was trying to get, I think, team with Dusty and like Blackjack, and they didn't trust him. So one-man gang did it on his own, was getting beat up. And then finally, here came Dusty and Blackjack, and they ended up teaming up with him, in there. So I think that's what you're going to get here. I think you're going to get a lot of, Sammy getting beat down. I think what's going to end up happening is Jay's going to end up turning on Sammy, and it being, the Usos and the Bloodline beating down on Sammy, and then Kevin's going to end up making the save to lead up to WrestleMania for the tag team title match. That's where I think that's going. Terry, Sean, do you think that just answered that one? Sorry, Terry. I didn't see your question before I started getting on my rant there. But yeah, I do see them as a tag team. I do. I don't know whether they're going to do it as one of those things where they just show up and they fight together, and then they're, because again, if you get a chance, go to WWE on YouTube, go to their playlist. Go to their playlist and look up the Sami Zayn Bloodline. There's a playlist. They got a whole thing orchestrated. It's an hour and 3 minutes, and it's every piece from when Sammy first confronted the Bloodline all the way through to the pay-per-view there. So that's a very interesting watch. And I was like, I'll watch it for a minute and remember some of the things, but then I ended up watching a whole hour and 3 minutes. It was a very good ride, and it also goes to show you how good that segment and that angle was, that it's still going, because it's feeding off this. What we're getting now is feeding off of, that whole Bloodline angle and leading up to Elimination Chamber. Now, again, do I think they thought Sammy was going to get as big as he did? No, which is why I think they, in the plans, it was never for Sammy to be anything more than another stepping stone to Roman leading up to his battle with Cody. So those are some of what I think are going to be, some of the matches. Again, some matches are going to get added here and there, but I think those are going to be your big matches. I don't know what they're going to do with Gunther. I don't know where he's going to be at by that time. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't have WrestleMania matches right now. I mean, with Drew McIntyre, what are you doing with him right now? He's still running around with Sheamus, doing the Banger Brothers or whatever the hell they are. But I don't know where they're going to go with some of these guys, and they're going to have to do it quick. I mean, again, yes, 6 weeks is a long time for something that's been building up. The Cody Rhodes angle has been building for so long that now these 6 weeks are just kind of like the countdown. But if you're trying to get something, of measurement up to me, what should be on WrestleMania, I don't see anybody there. I mean, I get it. They're going to do, again, I don't know how, it was not a source that I trust all the time, but they do hit on some occasions. They had Omos, and they had Omos against Lesnar and Bobby Lashley against Bray Wyatt. Now, again, if you do those at some point, I guess you maybe bring the Hurt Business back together so that Omos is there trying to do Bobby Lashley's. Yes, you're right. And the Dominic and Rey Mysterio, not Dominic Cruz, Dominic and Rey Mysterio. He's the, that one will be on there also. And then also, Finn Balor and Edge are probably going to be on there as well. What interesting I found out was they originally were going to bring back the Demon character at the beginning when he joined Judgment Day, but they didn't want to. They pulled the plug on it. No really back story on why they wanted to. I think it was a good call, because to me, the Demon character is more of a baby face type character. I mean, I get what it is, but it to me is a babyface character, not something that would be on the Judgment Day. Let's see here. Really, John Cena versus Theory for US. I don't know if it's going to be for the US title. I just think that they're gearing up. And again, on Raw in 2 weeks, he said he was going to confront John Cena. So maybe it doesn't go to WrestleMania, but I don't know why you put John Cena Theory at Raw when you can build up and have them at WrestleMania. I mean, it just makes sense. You want to have Cena on there, and who else are you going to pair Cena up against right now? I just don't know that, to me, Austin Theory is there. Austin Theory has shown, and I get they're doing all this stuff. Seth Rollins was about to beat him, and Logan Paul comes in, and that's the other match I almost forgot about. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, that match will be there. But, and again, Logan Paul, just the timing and everything that he does. And I get it. Everybody's like, oh, I forgot. Somebody had said, oh, they got to ban the curb stomp. And it's like, that whole thing was set up. Montez Ford took that long to get out of the cage so that Logan Paul could work his way into the cage. And the timing was there. It just amazes me and again, I get it. They go over things and all this stuff, but for him to just step into that and deliver how he has been delivering is great. And I honestly cannot wait to see him and Seth Rollins go one-on-one. I really think that match could be a show stealer. And every time Seth Rollins out there, I know it sounds kind of stupid me saying that because it's Seth Rollins. And then when you look at Logan Paul, it's amazing to me. Sean, do you think the Usos dropped the titles to Kevin and Sami? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I think that is, again, remember going back to the promo that started Raw last night. You were by yourself. You couldn't bring the bloodline down. I was by myself. I couldn't bring the bloodline down. Let's go together and let's take down the bloodline. And then Kevin Owens was like, why don't you get your buddy Jay? And he walked out. So I think ultimately you're going to see them start chipping away at some of the bloodline. So yeah, I think they do take the titles. I think they drop the titles to Kevin and Sammy. To me, that starts making this whole, 7-8 months that Sammy has been going with Bloodline, it starts kind of tightening it up and putting that bow tie on there. I never thought that he was going to beat Roman. I never did. Could they have worked it out that way if they would have said it's only for the Universal title or only for the WWE title? Then I would have been like, okay, this is where something could happen and Sammy ends up walking out a champion. But once they said the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, I knew there's no way. There's no way Sami Zayn is winning that title. Unfortunately. I mean, there's just no way they allow, Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes to headline WrestleMania. That will never happen. I think it'd be a hell of a match, but I don't think they would ever let it headline WrestleMania. So we'll have to see where they go there. What kind of story are they trying to do for Rick Boogs? Honestly, Frankie, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that guy, man. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I can see him maybe working with Elias and doing something. I know they were teasing that, but then this week I saw Elias just kind of called out anybody, and Lashley came out and wore him down a little bit. So I don't know where they're going with Boogs, but they definitely need to do something with him. And maybe he's like, the second or third match on one of the cards and they feed him somebody. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can get into an in-depth angle right now with anybody. Again, you've had Dominic and Ray working for a long time, right? You've had Cody, the whole comeback, and Roman, again, that is writing itself. They haven't had to come face to face. Rhea Charlotte, that was planted way back 2 or 3 years ago at another WrestleMania. Asuka wins the match, and again, that she wins it, and now she's going to take on Bianca, and they have her doing the blue, the blue stuff, and that story's starting to write itself. So we're going to have to see, where they go. The one thing I'm interested too is to see what they do with Bray. I mean, you're not going to have are you going to have a wrestling match with Bray? Or is it going to be a cinematic match again? There's a lot of things that they're going to have to kind of tighten up. But right now they have like this big ball of ideas. And now they just got to start squeezing it in. So by April 1st and April 2nd in Hollywood at SoFi Stadium, they have a complete card. And then I know I was asked this on the show today. Do I think Cody goes over on Roman Reigns? I have some hesitation on that. I think, yes, the story writes itself, and for it to be the great ending that it needs to be, Cody needs to get that win. But I also know, I think, what has it been, 290 days? Roman Reigns has been the champion. You have built him as this unstoppable force. Is Cody Rhodes that guy to stop that? Has Cody, reached that level to where he's the one that you've built up 3 years of all this stuff to allow Cody Rhodes to be that guy to end the reign of Roman Reigns? If I'm writing it, no. No, I do not allow Cody Rhodes to beat Roman Reigns. I know it sucks, and I know it's going to sound, terrible of me. But to me, you have put a lot more into Roman Reigns, and I get it. You've paid Cody a lot of money to jump ship. You've laid all this out of there, but I cannot believe in a million years, I cannot believe that they said, Cody, we're bringing you in at WrestleMania. Then the following WrestleMania, we're putting the heavyweight title, the undisputed WWE Universal title, on you, and you're going to be the one to end Roman Reigns. By then, it might be 300 days, or no, I'm sorry, what is it be? Almost 2 years, something like that. So, I'll ask you guys, do you believe Cody will be the one to end the reign of Roman Reigns? Because to me, I think you've got way too much invested in Roman Reigns to have him drop the titles to Cody Rhodes. Let me see what we got going on the chat board. Prices for the packages for WrestleMania. Yeah, yeah. Those things are crazily priced. The only good thing is, like, they're more priced, I believe, for the international travel than somebody who's here domestic. So that is the one thing that the packages are kind of set up for all the international fans. Bosby says I was looking as well. I'm watching on Peacock. Maybe we'll get together and we'll get quite a few guys. Maybe we'll do a round table for WrestleMania weekend. We'll get together. I'll get you guys the link, and we can just have a round table leading into WrestleMania each night, and maybe we do a post game as well. So, Hane, glad to have you there, sir. Let's see. Frankie says the thing is Roman lost Sammy. It appears the Usos are not doing so well. It would make sense to have them run with that bad luck type of story. Yeah, but then you're saying that Roman was only the champion because of the bloodline and why they have helped out. I mean, he has beaten, Brock Lesnar. He's taken out Drew. He's taken out Lashley. I mean, just the people that they have had him beat. I just do not see, again, and I could be completely wrong, man. Again, I've been wrong more than I've been right lately, especially with the way, some of the booking over in AEW and things like that. But to me, you've invested so much into Roman Reigns. It almost feels like the Goldberg thing. When he loses, where does he go? What happens to Roman? I get it. He's a part-timer and this and that, but you have invested so much into him. Where does that go? That becomes, again, something else that, and again, Cody, again, you can do this to where, again, I mean, man, I to tell you the truth, this is what I would do. Seth Rollins has been getting this whole, babyface thing. I would have him turn in the main event and cost Cody the match. Why not? Run it back with them two for a little bit. If you want to keep the titles on Roman. If Cody's going over, then by all means, just put him over. But I think there's got to be something, man. Because I don't know the problem. Like I said, I don't know what you do with Roman after he loses the belt. Where does he go? This is what he's been. You can't do the Happy Corbin thing. Boom, he loses everything. He drops all the way to dead bottom, and then you bring him back up. Not going to happen. Let's see, Boss B and Frankie. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, we'll set that up. Frankie and Boss B, reach out to me on the DMs. We'll get that set up. Sean, for you, is Peacock the best single option for wrestling? WWE, yes. WWE wrestling, yes, that is the best single option and then also, I mean, again, old school WCW, they own the library there. They own the library for ECW. They own the library for, I think, World Class Championship Wrestling. They have some of, the documentaries and things. And Terry, no, I did not watch NWO documentary on Sunday. I was covering the Daytona 500 and it ran over. So I was in the press conference for that. But I will be catching up on that. And then there's a lot of good stuff coming out, man. There's so much good stuff, man. I've been able to catch a little bit of MLW now too as well. Now that they're on what are they on? Epics, I believe it is. They're running there on Thursdays. So I'm watching a little bit of that, catching up on that product as well. So there's a lot of good thing, man. The funny thing is I saw a schedule the other day. Reels. Thank you, Boss B. Reels. I'm sorry, I said Epics. It's Reels. You're 100% correct. Monday, you got Raw from 8 to 11. Tuesday, you've got NXT, 8 to 10. Wednesday, and then at 10 to 11 is, who was 10 to 11? I forgot who that was. Then you had on Wednesday, you've got AEW Dynamite from 8 to 10, of course. Then on Thursday, now you have Impact 8 to 10. And then the on Reels, the MLW is on from 10 to 11. And then Fridays, of course, you got SmackDown 8 to 10. And then AEW is, depending on where the scheduling is, they're usually at 10 o'clock. This week, apparently, they were at 7. So I missed them. But yeah, Jake the Snake next. And I just don't know how. I want to watch that one because I want to see how real they go with that on A&E. I want to see how real they take the Jake the Snake documentary. How dark and how deep down that hole do they go? Because he hit bottom too as well. Again, he's good story. He's battled back and he's doing tremendous right now. And I'm happy for him for that. But I wonder how deep they go. And again, hopefully they also focus on how smart of a wrestling mind he really is. And when he was at his prime, that man he's just, philosophy in the ring is just unmatched. One of the probably the top 4 or 5 to me in wrestling. Frankie says, I say have Roman lose, then have him try to regroup the Usos back to the point you can run that feud with Sammy and Kevin, and you don't need the belts to carry that story. The only issue that I have with that is at some point, I think they want to bring The Rock in. I think they still want that match. If he loses the titles and loses everything that he's gained, that match is gone. The level of that match would be gone. Because to me, I think, and I've been thinking about this because I said many times, Rock versus Roman don't need the titles. But then I thought about this. What if The Rock came back and said he wanted the titles and Roman challenged him back and said, well, you put up the head of the table? Because again, he's the head of the table, but to me, The Rock would be the head of this table for the Samoan dynasty with wrestling. And then, it'll be Roman Reigns, the Samoan dynasty head of the table versus the titles. And then, again, more than likely Roman goes over. Rock passes the torch over to Roman. If that's what you want to go, you need the titles for that. So again, it's one of those things where sometimes I don't think you need the belts like you're saying there. I think if they go that way, you're right. The belts, they don't need the belts to carry that story. But if they ever want to get to the story of being Rock versus Roman, you can't have Roman lose. Again, you make it a triple threat. Or on Saturday night, he defends one belt. Sunday, he defends another. Again, it's all there. It's all there. 3-way Cody Roman. I just, what if Rock shows up at WrestleMania, helps does the rock bottom. Cody crawls over, gets the 3 count. And then I don't know, what's the next pay-per-view? SummerSlam would be the next big pay-per-view. And then there it's Rock versus Roman. Then you can slide the title on Cody. Roman stays strong because technically the Rock comes out and helps him. And now you've taken the titles off of Roman and you've gotten a little bit deeper into a story of Rock versus Roman. So, again, there's so many avenues. I think they worked this damn bloodline thing so well. And there's so many, you thought, oh, The Rock was going to be at WrestleMania. Oh, The Rock can't make it to WrestleMania. Apparently, The Rock can't get in shape quick enough, even though he's in the gym at 2 a.m. and eating 65 pounds of pancakes, but he can't get in shape enough to get to WrestleMania. But you know what, it is what it is. He's traveling to every XFL game. So, that's one of the things there. I want to talk a little bit about AEW now. I think the production and the wrestling, the production's gotten better. The wrestling's always been good. I can't get with the storylines, man. And please help me out. AEW, I'm not bashing the wrestlers. I'm not bashing AEW. I just don't understand what is the goal of AEW right now. Let's see. Frankie says real quick, they need to push Sammy. Right now he's popular. Reminds me of Dan O'Brien when he got that push. Yeah, but I think he's at the cap right now, and they need to. I think again, team him up with Kevin Owens. They wrote that story perfect. He was in his hometown Friday and Saturday. He was ready to go. He's fired up. He got them all fired up, and just came up a little bit short, but they left him strong, standing over Roman as the pay-per-view, went off the air. You don't get much stronger than that. Going back to what I was saying with AEW is I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know what it is. But when I sit there and I watch the product, I don't know if they've changed a lot as far as the format. It's moving. But why does Jon Moxley have to bleed every damn time? Every match. I mean, dude, he could be fighting me. I've never been on AEW. All of a sudden, I'll bust him open. The guy bleeds. Why? Why do they need to have that on every week? What does that bring? What does that bring to the product? I don't understand why every week you turn on the match and Jon Moxley's busted open. It just makes no sense to me. I remember, and again, maybe this is crusty old me. Get off my lawn. But man, like, you bled when it was a feud, man. You bled to draw money. Because when you bled, it meant something. It meant that, this was legit. This is a big feud. You drew first blood, but I'll get you in the end. And now I just feel like that. I get it. The Moxley, character, Jon Moxley character is that, hardcore, and I get all that. But every damn match. And to me, I'll say it again. I think Tony Khan needs to get somebody else in there. Maybe he does. I don't know. But a lot of this stuff seems recycled. Maybe they put somebody else in spots. But I feel like I've already watched this done with somebody else. And again, I'm not bashing AEW. I like the wrestling. The wrestlers bust their ass. I'm not going to sit here, but there is something that is, to me, misses the target. And obviously it's missing the target because your ratings. I mean, you're putting on all these shows. Moxley's bleeding every damn week. You're not even getting 1 million views. Remember when you only blood on pay-per-views because that's where you got the most eyes. You're bleeding this week for 800,000 people. I mean, there was one show where it started at 1 million and it slowly went down. And then by the end, it was at 774. So look at what you're doing in those matches and see what I get. You want to start off with a ball of fire. I understand all that. That's the reason WWE starts off with usually a promo or something to get the crowd going at the beginning. You know, you want to throw those matches in there at the beginning, that's fine. But then you need to continue that throughout the show. And I think some of that is wearing off. And also, I think you need to start bringing on, you can't have the same people. Moxley, Jericho Appreciation Society. I don't know. I'm not trying to sit here and bash AEW because I think the product is good. But they're missing something that will bring it up another level. I love what they did with the production, with the set on the outside and the railings when they brought over the gentleman from WWE that came over there. You know, the new Tron in the back. All that is great. But it's time to, hell, this week it's Orange Cassidy against Wheeler Yuta. I don't know what. I got the matches right here. Let me see what this week on AEW Dynamite. I know Moxley will be bleeding because I believe he's taking on Evil Uno. All right, so here's the full card. Let me see what we got here. You've got, oh my God, Tony Khan is going to make an important announcement. I wonder if he's going to go after Ariel Helwani. Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. John Moxley against Evil Uno. Sky Blue versus Saraya. Tony Schiavone is going to talk with Christian Cage. We'll hear from Bryan Danielson. And the Acclaim will take on Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. They got the tag team match, I guess, is the one there, right? So that just, again, man, because I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm bashing AEW because I'm not. I'm bashing it's not even the booking because the matches are strong, man. It's the storytelling of the angles, you know, and that has nothing to do with the workers and the performers and all that stuff, man. And nothing to do with that. But there is something missing there that's not grasping on. And it's evident when you look at their viewership. It is evident. Again, you got your diehard AEWs and they're going to be like, oh, don't talk about my wrestling like that in my AEW. Man, something's missing. And I get it. You can be all you want against WWE, but God damn, man. At least right now, there's some riveting TV in WWE. What's riveting right now in AEW? What's the one thing? MJF and Bryan Danielson? What else? What else do you have to tune in to see? Boss B, would you or have you been on the Jericho cruise? I would definitely go on to it, and I would like to possibly go on the next one. The problem we had this last time was it left the week that the Super Bowl was out of the week the Super Bowl was off when they played the Pro Bowl. That was the week of the cruise. So I got to try to find better timing there. No Need to Bleed versus Evil Uno. You would think not, but I will bet you money, Frankie Fresco. You know what? That should be your thing tomorrow. Bleed or not to bleed? That should be the question to Not even because the MJF storyline is getting boring. It's boring because, look, MJF is that guy. He's that fire starter But that stick gets old, man. That stick gets old after a while. And it's tough too, man, because I think that dude is so awesome. I really do, man. I love MJF. But I can also see how he can burn out on fans. You know, I mean, I get it. You know, your AEW, you know, extremists love, you know, getting beer thrown in their face and things like that. But also it turns some people away, man. You know, you go to a show, you're not going there to get, you know, and again, most of you guys are probably planted. I get it. I understand that, you know, but also, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, like if you saw what MJF did during the break, I think if you play it, MJF during the break, you'll see it. I mean, it's just like why? Why do you have to? I get your characters is the insulting type, the degrading type, and all that stuff and things like that. But you know, at some point, that gets old. You can only, you know, call me so many damn names before I go, okay, I'll turn this guy off. It was good at the beginning and when they didn't, but now that he's had to be on all the time, to me, and maybe, you know, again, hey, I'm one man. This is one man's opinion. As you can see, I'm having problems here with my mic. I'm about ready to body slam this some bitch. But you know, one man's opinion, but I think that stick's getting old. You can only come out and, you know, and you know, degrade people so many times. That's why Ric Flair was so good at it. He would degrade you without you knowing he was degrading you. Look at my alligator skin shoes. You wish you had one pair. I've got 24 in my closet. You know, like little thing, and I get it. It doesn't sound like a lot, but those little things, that makes, you know, you hate them even more than just being like, hey, I'm richer than you. Hey, I got the title, so I'm better than you. Like, after a while, that shit gets old. Old. So, it'll be very interesting. And I'm not taking anything away from his in-ring performance. MJF can perform in that ring. Heads and shoulders above a lot. You watched him with what the Japanese star? Yatsuka? Oh my goodness. Why am I drawing a blank? But when you watch those two wrestle, dude, that right there, dude, I would pay all day to watch that action. That's the action I want from AEW. You know, it's a little bit quicker than what the WWE, you know, wrestling is, you know, and things like that. So, my 2 cents on AEW. You think MJF losing the title of the Dragon? No, I don't. Because Bryan Danielson, I think, is getting a little bit closer, more toward this being the end. So I think this is just going to be another stepping stone for MJF to build MJF. And rightfully so. I'm not taking anything away from him or his title reign. I just think the shtick is getting old of I'm better than you. And I'm going to degrade you. Okay, well, degrade me. But, you know, it gets over. Frankie says he thinks he should lose it. Yeah, but I don't know that Bryan Danielson's the one that should get it. I mean, again, it goes back to AEW was supposed to be what? The alternative to WWE, correct? Chris Jericho, I get it. He's not a quote-unquote WWE product, was your champion. Jon Moxley was your champion. CM Punk was your champion. You have Kenny Omega, you have Adam Page, and now you have MJF as your quote-unquote homegrown stars that have won your title. Do you give it to another person that came over from WWE for what? And I don't think that, you know, again, if you're going to do this MJF character the way it should be, he needs to start getting a faction together. And I'm hoping that's what they do at the next pay-per-view, is you start seeing a organization like what he had with the Pinnacle. That's what MJF needs. He needs to have those guys that can come out, cause a little bit, just like Flair and the Horsemen. That's what MJF needs to be. Then he can keep his egotistical stuff going, calm down a little bit on the berating of everybody and this and that. But you can be that heel character. And now you put in an organization with them to help him keep the title. And that's how you do it. Again, that's what his gimmick is, right? He's the Weasel. He's the Weaselly champion that's going to keep the title regardless if you don't want him to or not. He's going to find a way to keep the title around his waist. Why? Because the belt means more to him than it will to you. And that's why I think he needs to get some type of, around him again. I don't know who now, because again, you have no FTR right now. Will they come back? If they do come back, I personally think if they come back, it's with CM Punk and you run and make money with the Elite. Because right now, that's kind of the fire you need to start this, right? Because again, you have Mercedes Moné running around right now with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Everybody thought she was going to be the special, AEW never said anything about this, about her being the special. But again, speculation became it was going to be her. And then when she didn't show up, everybody's like, oh, AEW didn't bring her in. It works two ways, man. If she doesn't want to work that date, or she doesn't want to work with AEW, then it's not going to happen. But again, fans get the whole thing all worked up about who they think these special, And again, one of the things that AEW I think also did wrong in the beginning was they had so many damn surprises that you kind of got spoiled by it, right? It's like, they got to one up this now, right? They brought Adam Cole out, and you're like, oh man, Adam Cole. Oh, there comes Bryan Danielson in the same pay-per-view. It's like, it's one big surprise after another big surprise after another surprise. And now lately, what do you got? You got the return of Keith Lee. Which again is good. But it's not that home run shot. And right now they need a fire starter. And I think the only fire starter is CM Punk. Now again, I don't know where that stands. I know he was at the NJPW show. The one that they just did, Battle of the Valley, where Mercedes Moné won the title, the IWGP title. Bayley was also there. So now I don't know whether they, they bring him back. I don't know where they sit with that. That has kind of been hushed. And I think it might have been hushed so that when things happen, it's more of a surprise because nobody knows either way what's going on from that situation. Let's see here. Boss B, do you think Saraya has? Yes. Yes, I do. Yep. And I think she lost her luster because her and Tony Storm do nothing for me. It was great to see her. It was great. I think she would have been better off being a manager a little bit longer and then waiting to come back. But I just, again, one man's opinion, not speaking for anybody watching or anything like that. I feel she has lost her luster because she's Saraya, but what else does she bring to the product right now? I think what hurt her again were when the fans thought that Mercedes Moné were going to come in with her, and it ended up being Tony Storm, and then they're doing the Sheeta, angle, and it just like, really, this is your big, your special, your partner is Tony Storm. Okay. So I think that made her That lost a little bit of luster right there. Frank Fresh says, why did they bring Adam Cole back and he's not even ready to come back? No, they're going to work him into the things. Again, you do the vignettes and you do everything so everybody starts remembering who you are. I think ultimately what you're going to get is somebody will probably lay him out, and then that'll end up being the first person he fights. Who that's going to be, not 100%, but we'll see. I think hardcore fans acknowledge Bryan as indie more so than WWE. The game plan was always to make him top. Yeah, but I don't know. You could say they think of him more as indie, but when they start doing the yes, that wasn't indie. That's one of the things. I mean, I get it. You see the Dragon, Bryan Danielson, you think indie, there, but when you're doing the yes, that was not indie. So, I think there's a little bit of both there, and you may be right, again, but that fan base might look at him more indie because that fan base is a little bit more, toward the hardcore type indie wrestling. So you never know. I mean, that might be 100% true there, Big Nick. Once Jade learns to wrestle off the WWE, she goes, I thought the same thing, but I think she might stay loyal to AEW. And honestly, I like the slow build. Now I think it's calm. It's almost to a crawl. I think they need to start putting her in there with, your Tony Storms, your Britt Bakers, your, Jamie Hayter. You can't really right now because they're both champions. But I think she's doing pretty damn well right now. She's still got some little rough edges for her, but I think, and again, this is the one thing too, where I know AEW says they're paying by tiers and this and that, but you can tell now they've gone off the tier pay. They're paying some of the younger talent by tiers. But I can tell you now, if Jade is offered, more money to go to WWE, I can bet you that Tony Khan can probably match any offer WWE would make if they want to keep her. Again, I don't know, what the situation is there, but to me, with Jade Cargill, I would keep her as long as I can. At least the House of Black versus the Elite is something that can be exciting. Yeah, you look at it that way, but again, the matches and the execution, I think, are great. The inside, the squared circle, I think is fantastic. It's more the storytelling and the angle writing. Once they get in the ropes and they're working, it's fantastic. Other than I think bleeding a little bit too much. I just don't think everybody needs to bleed, man. I mean, hell, was it Rampage the past Friday? It was Press 10 was or whatever he is now. I forgot what he's going off of now that he's left them, but he's bleeding. Moxley's bleeding. It's like, I mean, come on, man. I just hope they don't rush that story. Funny thing is, with AEW, you asked me 4 or 5 months ago, I probably would have been like, you know what? They're going to do a lot more long-term storytelling. Now, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he'll stop stuff early just to get I didn't see that coming. But then not think about the repercussions after that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things where I say, like, I know Tony Khan, everything I've heard, he's a great owner. He's awesome to work for and this and that. But sometimes I think he might need somebody that just kind of, and I'm sure there's probably people there that he bounces ideas off of, but I don't know if they're yes men or not. That's the one thing. I don't know how many, because again, Vince used to love surrounding himself with yes men. But everything didn't get really great until, he had his yes men, but he had Pat Patterson, some other guys that were like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? And they were yes men to a degree, but they would also come up with ideas and and things of like, oh, I see what you're doing there, but what if we did, this, like with the whole thing with the Royal Rumble, it was like, why don't we, it says he's doing a regular battle royal, why don't we have every 2 minutes somebody comes in and little concept like that changed a lot of how, when you look at it now, it's not just that match. You've got the elimination chamber now that, you wait 2 or 3 minutes before entering and things like that. So it's one of those things to where I think he needs to have somebody, and I don't know, he's got, Jesus, man, you've got, I don't know if all these guys are back there every week or whatever, but you've got Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko, I know was going through some health issues, Dustin Rhodes, Arn Anderson, you got Jericho back there. You've got all these guys. I don't understand why why don't you make a committee? Why don't you make a committee and just run some things through some of the guys? And, and I see what you're saying, Big Nick, about real writers. But I don't necessarily know that it's necessarily, real writers. I don't think everything can be you. And I think that's where Vince McMahon also went wrong, and all the times that he did it. The buck stopped at him. If he didn't want something to happen, he vetoed it. If he wanted something to happen, then that's why the show became so stale. Because you have one guy telling all the viewers what they want to see, and that's not true. That's why product goes stale. And I'm starting to see, and again, I get it. AEW is very young and very infant stages. But you're seeing things already that's a little bit worrisome. Let's see. That was the Attitude Era. Great stories. No, yeah, it was. And that's when you had, you had Russo there. You had, those guys, and then they jumped over. But then you had Michael Hayes come in. You had, there were so many different writers. You had Gerwitz back then. I think that's how you say his name. You had a lot of guys that, hell, Freddie Prinze Jr. was a writer for WWE at one point, and you have that's what you have to have, a bunch of minds, because you're going to have your ones that are going to throw crazy shit, extremely good, that can't happen. You're going to have ones that throw extreme shit that will never happen. And then you got to start meeting in the middle. And that's when you start coming up with these crazy angles, that you saw in the Attitude Era. Bloodline. I don't know who ultimately, came up with that idea or anything else like that, but they struck gold. And sometimes things happen organically. And what was funny was I'm watching, and if you watch, I told you about the WWE playlist, go watch Sami Zayn and Bloodline. I don't know what they call it, the whole thing there. It's like an hour and 3 minutes. But you can see how Sami showed up at Roman's door for like 3 weeks. They didn't care anything about him. Then he started doing the little things, and then they went to make him an honorary, and then he said the Usi, and those things happen organically. Again, you write certain things, but you never know how big they're going to get. And that is, again, Vince McMahon said, Hulk Hogan, I'm putting all my eggs on you. I'm putting all my eggs in your basket. I'm going to put the title on you. We're going to go pay-per-view. We're going to bring in all these celebrities so we get all the eyes on the product. And I'm going to bring all the big names from every territory here. And that's how he created what he created. And to this day, it's still going. Right? Let's see. Big Nick said the corporate ministry it was. And that was the other thing too, and this is what's funny, and I thought about this. What if Tony Khan's big announcement this week was that he becomes, again, Vince McMahon, WWE and everything else, they were kind of, just kind of chilling in the middle there for a while. And then all of a sudden, Bret Hart did his thing, right? And then Vince McMahon became Mr. McMahon, the heel character. And then Stone Cold and all that, it all just gelled together perfectly. Something else that happened organically. It happened organically because Mr. McMahon wanted to answer for what he did, which was take the title off of Bret Hart because he wasn't going to let him go to WCW with another one of his titles to get thrown in the trash can. If you remember, I think a year before that, Medusa showed up on WCW TV with the women's title, threw it in a trash can, the WWE women's title, threw it in the trash can. Vince was not going to allow that to happen again. And neither was, again, now the story, the story's out there. Everybody knows, the plot, and they were not going to allow it to happen. And again, those are things that a decision was made to do that. But then he said, I need to go and answer. And he had the big black eye. And then he started, slowly becoming, that evil character, Mr. McMahon. And then, of course, Stone Cold starts becoming what he was. And it just freaking money-making hand over fist from that end there. And the court ministry was brilliant just because, it was McMahon, and the whole thing was leading up to it. It was Stone Cold. What was he? He was on the cross, right? Or Stephanie was kidnapped, and then Stone Cold came out to save Vince McMahon's daughter. And then Vince McMahon rips off the hood. It was me, Stone Cold, all along. It was me. And he was the guy behind the corporate ministry. And he had the whole thing was he orchestrated the kidnapping of his own daughter and everything else. And it, and then again, from there, it blew up. And yeah, Big Nick, 100%, Jake Roberts got hold of, the Stone Cold 316, that was birthed from that because Jake, was Bible thumping at that time. And he said, you can say your Psalms and John 3:16, well, Austin 3:16 says, kick your ass. And boom, the next night on Raw, there were signs everywhere. All right, guys, we've been going for about an hour now, man. I appreciate you all being on with me. Big Nick, Frank, as always, Boss B, my dad, and of course, everybody else that was jumped in, Terry. Of course, man, you guys have been tremendous. We'll be back here next week on Tuesday. Hoping to have a guest lined up, possibly. And trying to get some of the CCW guys as well. So with that, I bid you adieu. No, I'm not going to do the whole gun thing. But in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State, and respect to you, Big Nick, Boss B, Terry, Frankie, as always, so long from the Sunshine State.